occasions and finished up with 9 kicks or so for that quarter, which was a good effort by him. Gary Wilson, who I thought was overusing the handball earlier in the game, was more positive in that quarter. Warwick Irwin gave them a bit of drive in the forward line, and David Cloke, when he went into the ruck, certainly combated the South Australians and started to give Victoria a slight edge.
Well, there you can see a very tense South Australian side there, and Victoria, and Corns has had 20 kicks. He's the main kick getter on the ground at the moment. Malcolm Blake 18, Russell Ebert 16, Hodgman 16, Tuck 15, 14 to Picken and Turner and Rains, and 13 to Bartlett. If you were David Parker, would you make any moves, Kevin, for the Victorian side?
They've certainly got to do something, because the side's not functioning as well as it should be, and even though South Australia are putting a lot of pressure on them and they're using the ball much better, Victoria need to move their team around a little to try and get a bit of life there.
Well.
Oh, you can munch it on.
It's anybody's game at this present stage. I've always a firm believer that who gets the first touch and gets the first couple of goals on the board in the third quarter, in the vital last quarter, to me, of the side that just seems to get that lift. So I reckon in the first 10 minutes of this last quarter is going to be vital to both sides. There's only 2 points the difference.
Yes, 19-13 South Australia, 17-23 Victoria. I notice Peter Jonas is playing at centre half forward for South Australia. That means Davies could be on the ball. Out it comes to Warwick Irwin and takes a brilliant mark. Warwick Irwin, half forward flank. Not many leads offering. He'll go for the long kick, and Victoria's aim will be to get goals on the board quickly. A long kick towards Moore, but it's thumped away. Up to the half-forward line it goes. Wayne Schimmelbusch, the skipper. Here's a chance for him. Puts it in the pocket. Well done. And Curvis, he's gone for the hand pass to Peter Moore. He's only 15 metres out. Puts a high kick towards full forward, and he's missed. Well, a great opportunity there. Nan Curvis could have kicked that one, Kevin.
Well, he's a left footer too.
Yes, Wayne Schimmelbusch could have had a shot himself, but he used the ball well to Nankervis, and Nankervis is, instead of going back and taking his time, lost a valuable opportunity, Victoria, on that occasion.
Yes, pressure on, 127 to 126, and the crowd certainly voicing their lungs here in this vital last quarter. Kick from Soles, a long 60-metre kick. Back of the pack. Oh, he's trying to pick it up there. Everyone a little bit tentative, and the umpire has finally picked the kick out. And 15 metres, Eddie Fry gets it. Puts it down towards Kennedy, who's now back on the ground. They've got plenty of ruck from the South Australian side on the half-forward flank. Lindsay showing plenty of pace, this fellow. He's weaved his way into the forward pocket. He hasn't got many backups, and the umpire must... Oh, he's holding the ball, and Bruce Dool to take the kick.
I noticed you wondered about Rick Davies. He's playing in the forward pocket now, being shifted out of that centre half forward position. 15-metre penalty. Dool boots Victoria now to the left centre wing. Chance for Cloke, but coming downfield is Irwin. The hand passes on over towards a teammate in Turner. Turner makes his 10 metres to centre half forward. Nankervis sets and takes the mark. Kick short. Victoria got players loose. Flower coming down.
For a major. I don't think he'll get the distance. He's let the breeze take it in. It's right on the line. It's drifted over. It's through. And South Australia are back in this game.
Victoria, not a good bounce. Ebert's taps, but it goes straight down the throat of Nankervis, who drives Victoria to the right half-forward flank. Tuck on the run. Taken on pretty quickly by Fry, but it's Tuck who wins the day. Draws a player. Rains goes downfield to accept the hand pass. The short one is onto Templeton, onto Irwin. Irwin a chance, and he's marked the ball. Well, Victoria come back very, very strongly indeed after South Australia kicked that last goal. And they're playing with a lot more purpose and movement into their forward line, preparing to swing the ball around into the open spaces and make players run for it. And that's been the difference of their play in this last 11 minutes of this last quarter. Irwin a chance. Now, only about 15 metres out, directly in front. Oh, dear me. He's got his wrong kicking boot on. He only kicked a point. So it goes back to 12 points the difference now, with Victoria moving on the board to 20 goals, 25, or 26 to South Australia's 20 goals, 14. Kick into play now being taken. Out wide towards the right half-back flank on the outer side. Man in front, that's James of South Australia, and he's taken the mark.
Yes, Max James on that half-back flank, and South Australia with the breeze now needing goal. Puts it down towards half-forward, but there's plenty of Victorians there. Well picked up by Rains. He's been a tower of strength for them. And well tackled. Lyons is the umpire. Gets his kick towards half-forward, looking for the big fellows. In comes Cloke. Well picked up by Wilson. Under the boot towards full forward. Good snap from Gary Wilson, and puts it through for full points.
Wonderful ball control by Warwick Irwin on that occasion. He was able to hit it from one hand to the other, picked it up cleanly and put it through, and certainly half-forward line players are doing much better this quarter for Victoria.
Certainly are, Kevin. 22-26. 158 Victoria, 20 goals 14, 134 South Australia, and certainly high scores. And those Fitzroy viewers back in Victoria will know what a very deadly kick that Warwick Irwin is with a snapshot for goal. Back in the centre, Dexter Kennedy on the ball, but it's taken by Moore. Schimmelbusch, been a good leader, up towards half-forward, a chance for Phillips. Taylor doesn't know where to go at the moment. Finally kicks a long one towards half-forward. Plenty of players out there, and it's a good mark to Morris. Morris, right centre wing. Well, can South Australia come back? There's a long kick towards full forward, the back of the pack. Chance for Jonas. Snaps it over his head. He's got the lead in the pocket. Come on. And a great mark. Has it been paid to Davies? It hasn't. Oh, that looked like a mark. It has not been paid. And a minor score. And umpire Phillips is certainly not very happy with the crowd of that one, I would say, Frank.
Well, it looked a bit doubtful, but I think Davies held it long enough in my book. But still, the ball towards Victoria's right half-back flank. Hodgman battles desperately, putting his body in as Dexter. In go Victoria, though. Wilson is very desperate to gain possession. Interference, and Wilson takes the kick. Hand pass to Moore. Victoria dictating tune of play now. Up towards the right centre wing. Templeton a chance. In goes Corns, the ball to the ground, Rains. Plenty of pace, this fellow. Hand passes to Schimmelbusch. Good ball control. Kick slightly smothered. South Australia now, no talky-talky. Tuck Barrows in, but it's James in that half-back position, coming away to boot South Australia to the left half-forward flank. Picken. Jonas gains possession. Dumped to the ground. In goes Dool. Bit of a mix-up. Jonas, nobody giving him a hand there. The hand passes to Picken. Picken then over towards Dunstan. Dunstan drives Victoria forward of the right centre wing where Lindsay tries hard. The ball taken by Tuck. A wide open space forward of the right half forward flank. The only man there is South Australia's Phillips. Kick is smothered by Templeton. Victoria a chance. Awkward bounce. Tuck comes in to gain possession. No. Tired player Tuck. Finally the ball over towards Kennedy, and after all those chapter of accidents from the boot of Kennedy, South Australia to centre half forward. A great mark to Jonas. Graham's created the loose man up towards an open goal.
Direction where Rick Davies was, he wasn't even kicking in the direction of the goal.
Well, Peter Jonas brought the crowd to his feet with that one. It was a great mark, but couldn't be capped off. Bruce Dool and Curvis. Victoria get out of trouble up towards the centre again. Warwick Irwin, and he takes a mark in the centre. Well, they get out of trouble, Victoria, very neatly and very quickly. Michael Tuck, and paid the mark. Well, certainly an underrated player, this fellow, Michael Tuck, and he's not going to get 1 centimetre there. As Eddie Fry stands right on his mark. Michael Tuck, the Hawthorn ruck rover. He'd be a good 50 to 55 metres out. Gone for the short pass to Bartlett. There's Bartlett getting out of his own, but in tips Corns. Gallagher. Oh, they're fiddling at the moment, South Australia. Jeff Morris. And there's another kick smothered. Victoria throwing their bodies on at the moment. And over the line, out there in that left full forward pocket for Victoria.
Well, Bob, the boot's on the other foot, isn't it? Victoria dictating the tune of play, and South Australia are now making the mistakes.
That's correct, Frank.
Well, the ball coming in. Davies and, I should say, Dexter Kennedy and Cloak battle. South Australia work the ball to the right centre wing. Rains a chance, but Blight up on the ball gains possession. South Australia from his boot to the right half forward flank. Graham, but it's Picken in defence. Hand pass to Moore. Loose in the centre is Nan Curvis. Plenty of time to do what he wants to do with the ball. He does it all right. Looked like he picked out Phillips at the centre half back position for South Australia. Phillips with the ball. Hand pass on over towards Corns. Corns is a tired player. Robbed of the ball by Wilson. Coming through strongly for South Australia is James. Kicks towards centre half forward. Good mark in defence by Folds. And Victoria now starting to play very, very well indeed. They've moved it wide to Nan Curvis. Good move putting him in the centre of the ground. Moore backs up to take a hand pass. Bursts up towards the right half forward flank. Klomp doesn't know what to do. Moore decides to kick it long. And Bartlett says thank you as he moves into the open space to take the mark.
He can certainly move into those open spaces.
Oh,
Frank.
can he ever? And see, South Australia not concentrating now because, see, Templeton just moved down into that open space directly in front, only about, let's see, about 30 metres out directly in front, and Bartlett just passed the ball across to his centre half forward. So we see Templeton. He's kicked 3 goals so far in this game, playing at centre half forward in the last quarter, 30 metres out directly in front, the kick on its way. High into the air it goes, and it's through for another goal to Victoria.
Tired players out there on both sides. Bruce Dill. Back to Turner. Far flank is Wilson. Tuck in the centre of going well now, Victoria. Over to big David Cloak. He's at half forward. He's got the lead in the pocket to Irwin. Irwin's got a further lead in the centre to Templeton, and well played, Victoria. Brought it right from their back line with a chain of passes, and Templeton now 40 metres out directly in front. Been a pretty good player, this fellow. He's kicked 4. He could have kicked 7 or 8 if he'd have kicked straight early. And now with 43 goals on the board from both sides, Templeton lining up for yet another shot. There's a full forward. It's a floating punt kick. It doesn't look too good for me. It isn't. And offline and through with a minor score. And South Australia, well, pretty desperate, Kevin, at the moment.
Yes, see, their players, Bob, that had been doing well, Ebert and Blight and Corns, haven't been as damaging in this quarter, and the Victorian players are getting more out of their players for the first time in the game.
Victoria on the left half forward flank. Chance for Turner, and also Irwin. Ball over the line. So it's Victoria 23 goals 27, 165 to South Australia 20 goals 15, 135. 30 points the difference as the ball coming into play. Bennett high, taps away. Morris with the run of the ball. Taken on quickly here by Rain. Spills to the deck. Irwin, a hand pass quickly over to Woods, a teammate here in Folds. Up to full forward. Under the ball Moore. Carey hand passes to a player in Fry. Short to the right half-back flank to Kennedy. South Australia, right centre wing. Gosh, Tuck all on his lonesome. Kick behind the play and has taken the mark and steadies it down for Victoria at the 22-minute mark in the last quarter of play. Tuck now sees a lead to the left half forward flank. Cloak takes the mark. Been a good player today for Victoria, this fellow. Moving in, the high kick up towards full forward. Moore's going to be the flyer, so is Carey. Carey has front berth and takes the mark.
Pretty handy player since he came on, Frank.
Oh, but played very, very well indeed. A long hand pass to find Lindsay. Right centre wing goes the kick. Morris in the van and has taken the mark. Left-footed wingman has had his hands full today with his opponent in Turner. As he moves in now to kick to centre half forward. Jonas and Pickin, both flyers. Ball to the ground. Pickin with a front berth. Scrambles the ball to the deck, then picks up Tuck. And he kicks short to Cloak. Victoria starting to fiddle around, do what they please now. There's a good back up there. Long kick up towards full forward. The mark has been taken in defence by Taylor of South Australia.
Taylor comes right across the ground. He kicked a goal at that stage. Taken by Carey, and he puts it right in the arms of Robert Flower. Well, South Australia, I think, tiring at the moment. Robert Flower puts it up once more towards full forward, and Peter Moore coming out takes the mark. Peter Moore a long way out from goals, and the Brownlow medal winner will be a good kick to kick this one, a good 55 metres out. In lieu of the big stand there, and the breeze, Victoria's been kicking into this light breeze in the last quarter, but made light off it as they've combined very well, and players like Tuck and Cloak using the experience to hold South Australia out. A long kick from Peter Moore, but it's swinging offline. Into the pocket is Irwin. And there's a short pass further field to Schimmelbusch, and Victoria doing as they like at the moment. Here's the skipper from 20 metres out directly in front on this one, which certainly sealed the game for the Vicks. And put them into the final on Monday against WA, and what a great match that will be. Wayne Schimmelbusch. Straight through the centre from the skipper, and the 24th goal of Victoria.
The ball coming to ground. Hodgman dumped to the ground. Umpire Capes rules in his favour. Been a hard worker for South Australia. The hand pass on over towards Blight hasn't been prominent in this quarter. Long kick towards the full forward area. Dempsey into the air. Davies tries to hand pass away. Dempsey backs up. Kicks wide to the right half-back flank. Gallagher on the run, taken on by Flower. Moore coming through for Victoria. Interference, says the umpire, and Kelvin Moore to take the free kick. Goes short to find Picken. Picken kicks to the right centre wing. It's not good, but Schimmelbusch leads in the race for the ball. Backed up very well by Wilson. Oh, sells the dummy beautifully to Bennett. Comes onto the left boot. He's seen Irwin. Irwin uses body. Makes 10 metres. Kicks again to the open. On the lead comes Moore, and this has been the pattern of Victoria's football in this quarter. Wide open spaces and make players lead into the open space, and the players are kicking the ball into that area so that they can come and take the mark. So Peter Moore, 1979 Brownlow medalist. Distance shouldn't be beyond him. See what he does. He uses a drop punt. Distance all right, but not a good kick. Victoria on the board now moved to 24 goals 28. South Australia are 20 goals 15, 25.5-minute mark in this last quarter.
Yes, and a great quarter, last quarter of football by the Vics to get out of trouble at three-quarter time, kicking into this light breeze, but played great football in the last quarter. There goes the kick out towards Malcolm Blight, but in chips Rains, one of the biggest kick getters on the ground, and he takes yet another mark. 19th kick to Rains, and been a very handy player on that half-forward flank, using plenty of pace. There's his kick, drifting in towards full forward. Plenty of players up, picked up by Warwick Irwin, it's smothered. Still in that pocket. South Australia coming away with it through Taylor. Out of flank. Kennedy can't reach the ball. Well done there, as in chips Dunstan to put it back again, and Victoria, there's the experienced Tuck again, all over the ground in this last quarter. Over to Cloak's, well done. Cloak a little bit slow, but he's still in it. It's on the half-back flank. Malcolm Blight played a great first half, faded a little bit in this last quarter. Nearly a great mark to Flower. South Australia coming away. Gallagher. A great battle going in that half-forward flank. Flower's back in it, so is Fry, and it goes back to Malcolm Blight, who gets South Australia out of trouble.
Kicks towards the left centre wing. Chance now for a teammate here for South Australia in Fry. Battling desperately. Dool coming across. Gallagher. Hand pass to Blight. South Australians very tired. Blight pulled off the ball by Irwin. Crumbs to Schimmelbusch. Kicks it short. Take your choice. Wilson or Moore. Wilson takes the mark. Well, Bartlett's loose there, lurking away on his own. Templeton is going down into the square. No doubt Wilson will kick long for Templeton and the high ball. Wilson moves in. Beautiful kick there from the Victorian Rover, but offline for a point only. Victoria move on the board now to 173 points. South Australia 135.
Taylor kicking into play, gone towards the outer side. Been a great game of football here, but it's certainly Victoria at the moment. Cloak takes yet another mark. He's been a great player for Victoria all day. Puts it in towards full forward. Bouncing free. Knocked over by Fry. Chance for James. He brings it out towards the member stand flank. Robert Flower. These players still running on there. Gary Foles come right out to take this kick. Puts it in towards full forward, looking for more. In chips Gary Wilson. Smothered once more, but well backed up by Wilson. Tuck giving it back to him. Some very tired players out there, and the ball's gone out of play. Well, we're 28 minutes into this final quarter. 24-29, 173 Victoria, 20-15, 135 South Australia. Peter Miller in there battling with Carey. Malcolm Blight not giving up. Nowhere to go at the moment. Finally puts it out towards that flank. Cloak lurking there once more. There's always a player backing up, and this time it's Rains, and he gets Victoria forward once more.
And has found Bartlett. So the little rover for Victoria already kicked 3 goals in this game, and this distance shouldn't be beyond him. And when he started off in the game, was then put onto the interchange bench, but after coming back, has made his presence felt throughout the remainder of the game, particularly in the last half. Bartlett moves in, the long kick's on its way, and he brings up a 6-pointer on the board for Victoria.
Been a valuable player for Victoria, Kevin Bartlett. He reads the ball well when it comes into that forward line. He's an opportunist, and he kicked a lovely goal then, and Victoria have gained control of this game, which at three-quarter time it looked like being the other way.
Well, it was the good moves, Kevin, I felt, of Nankervis to the centre, Templeton down into the centre half-forward position and putting Cloak on the ball. It's certainly given Victoria a lot of steam as Cloak taps away. Bartlett, The hand pass quickly onto Schimmelbusch. Victoria do as they please from his boot to full forward. More sets. Crumbs going the way of Irwin. In towards an open goal.
Oh.
Kicks the ball. Oh, boy, there was some pretty heavy bumping. You can see how dry and dirty and dusty it is in the goal square up there. And the ball forced for a point. Victoria moved to 25 goals, 30. South Australia, 20 goals, 15 at the 31-minute mark in this last quarter.
Well, something that Victorians wouldn't see is dust coming up in the goal square, and Warwick Irwin thought he's in the nulla ball plane there at the moment. There's a kick. Must go to Dexter Kennedy on the half-back flank. He did quite well in the first quarter, but was pulled off the ground after that and just come back in this last quarter, so South Australia had plenty of ruckmen. Out it comes once more, a long kick towards a half-forward flank. Over the head of all the puck. Nankervis keeps... No, he doesn't. It's a throw in out there underneath the scoreboard. We're 31 minutes into this final quarter. There's the siren. Victoria, 25 goals, 30, 180. Defeated South Australia, 20 goals, 15, 135.